All right, Congressman, I don't want to keep you waiting any further as we're listening to your colleague, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York, speaking. She was flanking Mahmoud Khalil during his comments, which we take to have been made on pretty much two tracks. The first issue, sir, being the prospect of picking up people, deporting immigrants. He mentioned that, but also the issue of Gaza and the associated First Amendment rights. You have made clear that you oppose Mahmoud Khalil in the way he went about his protests and demonstrations on the campus at Columbia University. But pick up from that in addressing both of these issues. First, let's talk about the First Amendment rights within the issue of Gaza.
The First Amendment doesn't stop when it comes to foreign policy. People have expansive latitude for political speech, so long as it does not persistently target one class of Americans or create an unsuitable learning environment on campus. And Columbia failed both tests, and Mr. Khalil was part of creating that environment. I'd also note, Alex, I find it interesting that in his remarks, he has vicious words for the United States, he has vicious words for Israel, and he says nothing about Hamas, nothing about the terrorist organization that has immiserated the Palestinian people, that strangled toddlers with their bare hands, that launched this war on October 7th. I think it demonstrates the blinders that he has about this conflict. And again, he has full First Amendment rights to be wrong about this issue, but make no mistake, he is wrong.
And yeah, and certainly that can be interpreted that way. What about the prospect of picking up immigrants and deporting them? He touched on that. He understands about being picked up, though he wasn't necessarily an immigrant the way so many are being picked up, say in Los Angeles right now, and being rounded up by ICE agents.
There are 12 million individuals in the United States that are without documentation, and the administration has set as its goal deporting 3,000 every single day. Now, even if you accept that premise of 3,000, which is probably not feasible, that means that only about 1 in every 3 undocumented individuals could be deported over the course of this term, which obviously means, Alex, that the administration should be prioritizing who they're deporting. If you are a threat to public safety, or if you are law-breaking, you should be out of here. Focus on the jails. But instead, this administration has been picking up people trying to get jobs at Home Depots. They're picking up a constituent of mine who was carpooling to volleyball practice, an honors student and member of the high school band. So they have to prioritize those who are threats to law and order.
Let me also pivot here and speak about the topic I was addressing in the block before you came on here relative to Iran, U.S. involvement. During Wednesday's Senate Armed Services Committee hearing, Senator Jackie Rosen had a pretty contentious exchange with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. It was about the firing of the general heading both the NSA and U.S. Cyber Command. Let's take a listen together. Here's that.
Did you discuss General Hawk's dismissal with Laura Loomer prior to his removal?
I don't discuss who I talk about anything with, but ultimately this is my decision, and he serves at the pleasure of the president, and that's why he's no longer there.
So do you believe it's appropriate for any social media personality to influence personnel decisions in your department, yes or no?
I believe your time is up, Senator.
Oh, it is not up to you to tell me when my time is up.
I mean, come on. Laura Loomer, of course, the influential right-wing, far-right activist and conspiracy theorist who reportedly played a role in President Trump's April firing of several national security officials there. Loomer says she's now taking names of Republicans who disagree with the president over Iran. She's going to give the names to him. Look, Hegseth dodged answering the senator's question. I'm curious your reaction.
Pete Hegseth is not there for competence. He's there for loyalty. And the president has clearly excised him from his inner circle of national security decision-making and is surrounding himself with people whom he trusts more and who have more credible experience and expertise. That's probably a good thing for the country, but it's a bad thing that the president has installed somebody who's just on the JV team in such a position of importance.
Can I ask you very quickly, even though I know I'm out of time, given your experience, you were at 29 Palms, correct? That is the Marine base from which those 700 Marines have gone into Los Angeles. You're vehemently opposed to Marines conducting the kind of activities that they're doing right now in assisting things. You say that Marines are trained for warfare. Expand upon that a little bit, why you think it's dangerous to put them in the position they're in now, and that it's unfair.
The president's deployment of those 700 Marines is not just illegal and in violation of Posse Comitatus. It's not just unnecessary. It's also deeply unfair to those 700 Marines. Alex, probably about 550 of those Marines are 25 years old or younger. These are kids. And these are kids who have enlisted to sweat and bleed in defense of their country. They are trained to be war fighters, to locate, close with, and destroy the enemy. And they do train in military operations on urban terrain. They clear buildings out with fire and maneuver, and they level entire city blocks. That is not crowd control. They do not have the tactics, or training for crowd control. And putting them in this situation is terrible for their esprit de corps, and it's terrible for their military readiness.
All right.